Hi everybody, Grandpa here. Well, it's time to learn to stretch watercolor paper. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that there is more than one way to do it. This is the way I do it, okay? And so there are other ways that you can explore. And basically what we're going to do is we are going to wet the paper as wet as it's ever going to be. We're going to lay it down on the board, and with tape that's already sized, we're going to tape it flat onto the board, and then we're going to let it just dry. If we had sunshine outside, you could set it outside to dry, or just let it dry overnight, and it'll be flat and it'll be hard. Then you can draw your picture on it and do your painting on it. And if it buckles at all, it won't be very much, okay? So what we want to do is we want to prepare the tape. And the best way to prepare the masking tape, if it's full strength masking tape, is you tear it to the length you need and then put it on something fuzzy, like a blanket or even on your shirt, okay? You put it there and then you take it off, you tape it down there again, take it off again. And what it does is it is losing tack. And we want it to lose some of the tackiness because we don't want to have it rip the watercolor paper when we're removing it from the paper. And to make sure that we have the least amount of possibility of that happening, when we take it off of the paper after the painting is done, we tear it as flat to the surface as we can, and we always tear it so that it's moving away from the painting, okay, in case it takes some paper with it. So let's go ahead and head on over to the sink in the bathroom, get the paper ready, and we'll go from there, okay? So I'll get the paper and I'll meet you at the sink. We're going to have fun. All right, the first step, we've got to get the paper wet, okay? This paper has to be as wet as it's ever going to be. And this is just cool water, not hot, okay? We're wetting it on both sides. This is step one, just like this. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to head on over to the easel, and you can see how wet this paper is. Okay? We're going to head over to the easel now, and we're going to tape the paper down. Okay, let's go on over to the easel. All right, here we are through the magic of editing at the easel. Our paper is still soaking wet. We're going to lay it on the flat surface, still soaking wet. Okay, and now our tape, which has had some of the tack removed by putting it on a fuzzy surface, okay, we can tape it down nice and flat. That is the big thing. We want to have it flat, okay? Let's see how we're working on that. Nice and flat, just like this, okay? And one more. Nice and flat, just like that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to let this dry. And you'll see some wrinkles and some bumps in it, but that's just the paper stretching and moving around. When it dries, it's going to dry down flat because it's going to want to shrink, and you'll have a surface that you're able to paint on. And it's not going to buckle hardly any, if at all, because it's already been as wet as it's ever going to be, and you'll be able to paint with it just fine. That's how we do a watercolor stretch on watercolor paper. Okay? Now, all you got to do is get your paper, get it wet, get it down, get it taped. And a little side thing is get the tape all ready, so that when you set your paper down, you just go ahead and put the tape on it and you're ready to go. And then just leave it alone. Set it out in the sun if you want. If you've got sun, it's to where you can. Resist the urge to use a hairdryer or a heat gun, because what that does is that loosens up the adhesion on the tape, and it can literally come loose from the paper and you've got a mess. Okay? That's how we stretch watercolor paper. Thanks for being with me, and we'll be starting on our painting in just a little bit. Thanks for being here. Grandpa loves you. Bye-bye for now.